I'd like to call the Zoning Board of Appeals to order for November 19th, 2024. Will the city call the roll, please?
Ms. Defoe?
Here.
Mr. Friedman? Mr. Rogers?
Here.
Ms. Libet?
Present.
Mr. Jenkins? Mr. Havas? Madam Chairperson, you have a quorum to conduct business. Seeing only 3 members present, all decisions must be unanimous.
Thank you. So are there any communications?
None at this time.
Okay, so we will move into our public hearing. For those of you that haven't joined us before, let me briefly describe how we conduct business. The city will call the case by the case number. They'll read a brief summary of the case. Then we ask the appellant to step to the podium. These microphones, you have to speak right close into them or we will not be able to hear you. And explain to us what you're asking for and why. Then we'll have the city read the findings of fact. We'll ask the appellant to agree with those facts or add any other facts at that time. Then we'll hear the staff recommendation. Then we'll turn it over to public comment. So if you're here on a case and wish to speak to that case, that would be your opportunity to come forward and give your remarks to the board. And then we will close public comment and turn it over to the board to deliberate. As you just heard staff say, this is a board of 5. Which requires 3 affirmative votes to pass anything. In the past, when we've only had 3 members present, we do give you the choice if you'd like to delay your case to the next meeting. Our next meeting is December 3rd. If you wish to delay your case being heard, you need to decide that at the beginning when you come to the podium, and we'll delay the case to our next meeting when ideally we would have a full board. Okay, so will the city call the first case, please?
Case number 24-31. The appellant, Andrew Zelke, Blue Ranch Holdings, LLC, is requesting the following from the board. A variance for 2 wall signs not facing a major thoroughfare, 0 allowed, 2 proposed. A variance for 1 garden ground sign that exceeds 5 feet in height, 5 feet allowed, 6 feet proposed, a variance of 1 foot in height. A variance for 1 menu board that exceeds 5 feet in height, 5 feet allowed, 6 feet 3 inches proposed, and that exceeds 35 square feet in size. A variance of 11.3 square feet in size, 35 square feet allowed, 46.3 square feet proposed. The property is located on the east side of Southfield Road between Windflower Drive and 12 Mile Road at 29970 Southfield Road, Sidwell parcel number 762412153019, zoned B3, General Business District. This appeal is to section 8.602A, C, and D. Article 11, Chapter 99 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the sign ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Is the appellant here? Hi, if you could step to the microphone, please, and state your name and address for the record.
Andrew Zelke,
And your address, please.
4564 Oakhurst Ridge Road, Clarkston, Michigan, 48348.
Great, thank you. And can you explain to the board what you're asking for and why, please?
I'm asking, can I defer to the next meeting?
Oh,
or-
yes, absolutely. Sorry, if you would prefer to defer, you absolutely
Probably,
can.
since there's
Okay.
only 3, and you know what I mean, I'm not sure. if
Absolutely,
it can
not a
go
problem. So
through.
can I have a motion to move this case to the next meeting on December 3rd?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
No problem. We'll
Thank
see you in
you.
a couple weeks.
Yep.
Sure thing. 12-3. Okay, will the city call the next case, please?
Case 24-28. The appellant, L Car Wash, owner, which is an amendment to the legal notice, is requesting the following variances from the board. A variance of 45 feet of front yard building setback for a proposed car wash from an existing street right-of-way, 60 feet required, 15 feet proposed along Northwestern Highway. A variance of 20.5 feet of rear yard building setback, 35.5 feet required, 15 feet proposed. The properties are located on the north side of Northwestern Highway, at the southeast corner of Northwestern Highway and 12 Mile Road, Sidwell parcels number 2418-226-007, 2418-226-036, and 2418-226-051, located at 28810, 28830, and 28844 Northwestern Highway, zoned B3 General Business. This appeal is to Section 5.169, 2B and 8, Article 18, and Section 5.194, Article 22, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Great, thank you. Is the appellant here? Hi there. If you could just step to the microphone and state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Gabe Schuckman, 30200 Telegraph Road, Suite 205, Bingham Farms, Michigan.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Will you both be speaking or just you?
Both
Okay,
of
if
us
you
will be
could-
speaking.
Okay, if you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Fernandez. I am with Stonefield Engineering, and our address is 555 South Old Woodward, Birmingham, Michigan.
Great, thank you. And we'll offer if you want to defer to the next meeting, or we can hear your case now.
We're happy to present our case right now.
All right?
Thank you for having us
Yep,
this evening.
absolutely. Please
And-
proceed. If you could describe to the board what you're asking for and why.
Sure, absolutely. So we're excited to be here this evening presenting our case. We've had the opportunity to present this
Can you pull
development.
the microphone a little
Oh.
closer to you personally? Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you very much for having us this evening. We're excited to be here this evening. We've had our opportunity to present the project to both Planning Commission and City Council, and they were gracious enough to approve us. With the approved project, there were some variances that were necessary, so we're here to present those today. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about El Car Wash, and we're very excited to be building our flagship location here in the city of Southfield. So thank you again for having us today.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to describe your request, or?
Yeah.
Great, thank
So, like Gabe said, we're here requesting two variances for the placement of the building in regards to Northwestern Highway. So as you can see, we put this exhibit together to demonstrate that basically the odd shape of the lot, with the acute angles of the intersecting right-of-ways of 12 Mile and Northwestern Highway, along with the narrowness along the middle, and then the triangle nature of the lot at the south area makes it very difficult for us to develop this site. Typically, you have a rectangular shaped lot that makes it easier for us to put a rectangular type shaped building in there and full site circulation around it. And everyone, loves that development. In this case, we thought, since a rectangular building is not going to be feasible, as you can see, I think we have like 33% of the lot is what ends up being actually buildable. We brought in a longer building along the hypotenuse of this site to be able to provide proper circulation, but this required the front setback or the rear setback along with the 60-foot rear setback to not be met. But we have worked in hand with staff to provide this layout and successfully actually improve the overall situation of this corner by bringing I believe it's 7 buildings that currently sit there that are all disconnected, and there's multiple access points to these sites. We brought them all together into one harmonious site, alleviating the current traffic situation, along with improving the actual site with this great development.
Okay, great. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
For ZBA case 24-28, the appellant El Car Wash owner is requesting the following variances from the board. Variance of 45 feet of front yard building setback for a proposed car wash from an existing street right-of-way. Actually, should just say building setback. 60 feet required, 15 feet proposed along Northwestern Highway, and a variance of 20.5 feet of rear yard building setback. 35.5 feet required, 15 feet proposed. The properties are located on the north side of Northwestern Highway at the southeast corner of Northwestern Highway and 12 Mile Road. Sidwell parcels 2418-226007, 2418-226036, and 2418-226051, located at 28810, 28830, and 28844 Northwestern Highway, zoned B3 General Business. Property is currently developed with an existing retail building, dry cleaner, FedEx, Allegra Printing, and former LA Insurance. Properties to the north across 12 Mile Road are Zone B2 Planned Business and B3 General Business, and are developed with the Franklin Point Medical Center, vacant Huntington Bank, which is under construction with Savvy Sliders, and the Franklin Medical Center. Properties to the south across Northwestern Highway are Zone B3 General Business and are developed with the Casa de Monte Cristo Cigar Lounge, American Eye Institute, and a multi-tenant retail center. Properties to the east are Zone B3 General Business and are developed with the Wash and Play Coin Laundry and Burger King Restaurant. Properties to the west across Northwestern Highway are Zone B3 General Business and are developed with the Family Dollar and Starbucks. The proposed site contains 1.4 acres of land with 357.71 feet of frontage on 12 Mile Road, 596.34 feet of frontage on Northwestern Highway, and a depth of 262.22 feet. The recently approved site plan proposes the demolition of all existing buildings and the construction of a 4,284 gross square foot car wash building with exterior vacuums. ZBA case 2331 granted variances of 25 feet 7 inches of north side yard building setback, 40 feet required, 14 feet 5 inches provided, and 14 feet of south side yard building setback requirements, 40 feet required, 26 feet provided for a gas station on January 16, 2024. The more recently approved car wash development includes an additional parcel of property, 0.44 acres, to facilitate movement around the site needed to provide an optimal layout for the car wash stacking spaces required. Planning Department will not be recommending rescission of the previous 2331 case in order to provide flexibility to the developer. If permits for the gas station use are not applied to the building department by November 27, 2024, the site plan will expire and extension will need to be requested by the applicant and granted by City Council. The approved ZBA variances for the gas station development are good for 18 months from approval, so if a site plan extension request is submitted, permit applications would still need to be submitted by July 16, 2025. Otherwise, the variances will become null and void, or the appellant would need to come back before the board. 8 existing curb cuts between the two properties will be consolidated into 2, one each on Northwestern Highway and 12 Mile Road. The prior approved gas station project reduced the 6 existing curb cuts to 2, so the subject development would result in the reduction of 2 additional curb cuts. Proposed building will not meet the 60-foot setback requirement for car washes in the B3 district, as car wash uses require a larger setback, 60 feet on all sides measured from the street rights of way. Then not only gas stations, but also standard commercial retail use within the district. Initial phase environmental testing and research, site and soil contamination has been found on the northeasterly portion of the site. Building the primary structure in this area to avoid variances would be considered an unnecessary hardship on the appellant, as it would disturb a larger area of contaminated soils, adding significant time for remediation of the construction timeline. And this was also a finding that was presented as part of the prior case. Petitioner is also facing practical difficulty in meeting setback requirements due to the irregular shape of the property, the unique circumstances pertaining to the shape of the property, and difficulty to adhere to required setbacks on the property is shared by another B3 zone property in the area, which is the American Eye Institute, located to the south of the subject lot line, as well as parking and landscape area variances that were granted due primarily to the irregular lot shape as well. And this was granted as part of ZBA case 9117 by ZBA on May 21st, 1991. Practical difficulty was also the primary basis for which the prior gas station variances were approved as part of case 2331.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
Yeah,
Okay, are there any other facts you'd like to add at this time?
not at this moment unless there's questions.
Okay, will the city read the recommendation, please?
Staff's recommendation is to approve the requested variances with the following condition. Lot consolidation or combination of the 3 subject parcels must be approved by the Southfield City Assessor's Office prior to issuance of building permit. The recommendation is based upon the following. Variances requested will have no adverse effects on the surrounding properties due to the commercial character of the area and relatively fast-moving traffic on Northwestern and 12 Mile Road. Redevelopment of the site will provide added benefit to the surrounding properties. Proposed landscape upgrades will provide additional buffer area between the building and street frontages and will vastly improve the aesthetics of the site. Driveway consolidations and the resulting traffic flow pattern will further benefit or improve both the functionality of the site and the area in general. Strict compliance with the setback requirements for car washes in the B3 district would pose an unnecessary hardship on the appellant. To meet required setbacks, the building would need to be relocated to the portion of the property where contamination exists, remediation for which would add significant time to the development timeline. Appellant is facing practical difficulty due to the irregular shape of the lot. The only area of property with similar zoning and physical characteristics was granted comparable building setback variances in addition to parking and landscape variances as part of ZBA case 9117 in 1991. Practical difficulty was also a basis for which the prior variances in ZBA case 2331 were granted. If granted, the variances requested resulting in a minor relaxation of ordinance standards would provide substantial justice to the appellant. It would be consistent with the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we open public comment? No?
No, thank you.
Okay. So we are going to open public comment on this case. If you are here to speak to this case, this will be your opportunity to come forward and address the board with your comments. Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment and turn it over to the board. Mr. Rogers?
I'm just glad to see this corner finally moving in the right direction. It's kind of a hodgepodge with all those little buildings. And I don't have a problem with the city's assessment of recommending the variances.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Libet?
I agree. It'll be good to see it.
Okay, my only question is, so is the gas station off the table and just a car wash based on these drawings?
Correct, the gas
Okay.
station's off the table.
Okay. Okay, I mean, again, I don't have any concerns. I think the layout looks nice, and, I think the request of the variances are very minor. So, Ms. Libet, will you make a motion for us?
Sure. Regarding zoning board case number 24.28, the appellant Samantha Bergner of L Car Wash, representing the owners Lael Investments LLC and Nord 12 Properties LLC, are requesting the following variances from the board. A variance of 45 feet of front yard building setback for a proposed car wash from an existing street right-of-way, 60 feet required, 15 feet proposed, along Northwestern Highway, and a variance of 20.5 feet of rear yard building setback, 35.5 feet required, 15 feet proposed. The properties are located on the north side of Northwestern Highway at the southeast corner of Northwestern Highway and 12 Mile Road, Sidwell parcels number 2418-226-007, 2418-226-036, and 2418-226-051, located at 28810, 28830, and 28840 Northwestern Highway, Zone B3 General Business. I move approval to the requested variances with the following condition. A lot consolidation combination of the 3 subject parcels must be approved by the Southwest City Assessor's Office prior to issuance of a building permit. The recommendation is based upon the following. The variances requested will have no adverse effect on the surrounding properties due to the commercial character of the area and relatively fast-moving traffic on Northwestern Highway and 12 Mile Road. The redevelopment of the site will provide added benefit to the surrounding properties. Proposed landscaping upgrades will provide additional buffer area between the buildings and street frontages and will vastly improve the aesthetics of the area. Driveway consolidations and the resulting traffic flow pattern will further improve both the functionality of the site and area in general. Strict compliance with the setback requirements for car washes in the B3 district would pose an unnecessary hardship on the appellant. To meet required setbacks, the building would need to be relocated to the portion of the property where contamination exists, the remediation for which would add significant time to the development timeline. The appellant is facing practical difficulty due to the irregular shape of the lot. The only area property with similar zoning and physical characteristics was granted comparable building setback variances in addition to parking and landscaping variances as part of ZBA case number 91-17 in 1991. Practical difficulty was also a basis for which the prior variances in ZBA case 2331 was granted. If granted, the variances requested resulting in a minor relaxation of ordinance standards would provide substantial justice to the appellant, would be consistent with the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance.
Great, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, your request is granted. Again, work on your lot combination and your permits with the building permit. Okay,
Thank you so much.
Have a good evening. Will the city call the next case, please?
Case number 24-30. The appellants, Michelle Davis and Beatrice Pack, representing the owner, Family Victory Fellowship, is requesting the following variances from the board. A variance of 11.8 feet of side yard setback for an existing shed, 15 feet required, 3.2 feet existing. A variance of 5 feet of side yard setback for a proposed shed, 15 feet required, 10 feet proposed. The property is located on the south side of 10 Mile Road at the southeast corner of 10 Mile Road and Red River Drive, Sidwell parcel number 2426-126-030, located at 19421 West 10 Mile Road, zoned OS Office Service. This appeal is to Section 5.194, Article 22, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Hi, is the appellant here? Hi there, good evening.
Good evening.
And if you could just, again, speak right into the microphone. It feels a little strange, but even closer in order for us to hear you.
Okay, my name is Michelle Davis, Beatrice Pack, and we are both outreach leads for Family Victory Fellowship Church. And what we're doing currently is that we're running a food distribution at that location that we've been running for the last 4 years. Next year will be 5 years, every second and fourth Monday. We feed up to 240 families every second and fourth Mondays, which translates to close to over 800 people. And each year we probably distribute over $1 million in food. And the primary reason why we started coming to like planning, building, is because we needed a shed to hold our supplies. And so we've gone through this almost a year process of trying to get this shed dropped in our location. And we're asking that the following variances that have been listed here be approved today so that we can move forward to get our shed placed on the property. And I guess we weren't expecting this, but the existing shed is also included in this variance request. Let's see, logistically, we want the two sheds to be in proximity to one another, logistically, because it's easier for us as volunteers to move our supplies from our shed to the location in which we actually distribute the food.
Based on the flow of traffic coming
Yeah,
in.
because it was advised that we have the shed in another location, but that's where our traffic comes in. From Red River, they wanted the shed on Red River. We wouldn't have had to go through this process if the shed was in the back of the property, but that's where our traffic flows through to the front of the church in order for us to distribute the food.
And we team with Forgotten Harvest. They bring a big trailer there every second and fourth Monday.
Yes. So that's the gist of it.
Okay, great. Stay right there for us. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
For ZBA case 24-30, the appellants Michelle Davis and Beatrice Pack, representing the owner, Family Victory Fellowship, are requesting the following variances from the board. Variance of 11.8 feet of side yard setback for an existing shed, 15 feet required, 3.2 feet existing. Variance of 5 feet of side yard setback for a proposed shed, 15 feet required, 10 feet proposed. Property is located on the south side of 10 Mile Road, at the southeast corner of 10 Mile Road and Red River Drive. Sidwell parcel 2426-126030, located at 19421 West 10 Mile Road, zoned OS Office Service. Subject property is currently developed with the Family Victory Fellowship Church. Property to the north across 10 Mile Road is zoned OS Office Service and is developed with the Feiger Law Office Complex. Properties to the east are zoned OS Office Service and RE Single Family Residential and are developed with the original House of Pancakes and single-family homes fronting Addison Drive. Properties to the west across Red River Drive are Zone B3 General Business and ERO Education Research Office and are developed with the Bridal Experience and a parking lot for the Northwest Corporate Office Complex, respectively. The site contains 3.9 acres of land with 240 feet of frontage along 10 Mile Road and a depth of approximately 610 feet along Red River Drive. Recently approved site plan for the property reflects the construction of a 120 square foot storage shed, pedestrian connection, and acts as an as-built plan for the property as it was, as the existing church was constructed prior to the city's incorporation and did not have an approved site plan on file. The existing shed situated at the northeast corner of the property was constructed without proper approvals and is currently illegal nonconforming in terms of side yard setbacks. Based on historical aerials, it appears that the shed was constructed sometime between July 2015 and April 2016. The proposed shed was approved to be constructed approximately 4 feet from the existing shed and 10 feet from the adjacent property line. The proposed structure will provide the property owner with the means to store additional items that are not able to be stored inside the church building due to lack of space, as well as equipment needed for ground maintenance, and as the applicants explained, for their food distribution operations. A 6-foot chain link fence runs along the property line, abutting residential properties to the southeast of the subject property. The existing chain link fence is legal nonconforming, as current zoning ordinance standards require a 6-foot high masonry wall separating church use from residential properties. The existing chain link fence may remain as is. Additionally, there is a substantial wooded buffer of mature trees and brush that exists on the residential side of the fence along the entire common property line.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
Yes.
Okay, are there any other facts you'd like to add at this time?
No.
Okay, will the city provide the recommendation, please?
Staff's recommendation is to approve the variances requested based upon the following. Side yard setback variances requested for both the existing and proposed sheds will have minimal adverse effects on the residential property to the southeast, especially since the residential properties are separated from the church by a fence and heavily treed buffer, and the existing shed has been on the property for at least 8 years without issue. The additional shed and variances requested present a reasonable solution to the property owner's storage issues and are in keeping with the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add before we open public comment?
No.
No, we just appreciate walking through the process and all the help that we received.
Good, great. Good to hear. Thank you. Okay, so we will open public comment on this case. If you're here to speak to this case, now would be your opportunity to come forward and address the board. Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment and turn it over to the board. Ms. Libet?
I have no problem whatsoever with this. I think it's wonderful what you're doing, so I'm with it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rogers?
I have no problems either with it. The only question I had, and I think it's unrelated, is it says the recently approved site plan. What are they applying for a site plan for? I was just curious.
If I might, through the chair to Mr. Rogers, it's for the construction of the shed. And because they did not have a council-approved plan on file, they had to actually go through the site plan process.
I understand.
Okay. Thank you. I think it's great. Thank you for your service to the community. Mr. Rogers, will you make a motion for us?
In regard to ZBA case 24-30, the appellants Michelle Davis and Beatrice Pack, representing the owner Family Victory Fellowship, are requesting the following variances from the board. 1, a variance of 11.8 feet of side yard setback for an existing shed, 15 feet required, 3.2 feet existing. And 2, a variance of 5 feet of side yard setback for a proposed shed, 15 feet required, 10 feet proposed. The property is located on the south side of 10 Mile at the southeast corner of 10 Mile Road and Red River Drive, Sidwell parcel 2426-126-030, located at 19421 West 10 Mile Road, zoned OS Office Service. I make a motion to approve both variances being requested for based on the fact that the side yard setback variances requested for both the existing and proposed sheds will have minimal adverse effects on the residential property to the southeast, especially since the residential properties are separated from the church by a fence and heavily treed buffer, and the existing shed has been on the property for at least 8 years without issue. Also, the additional shed and variances requested present a reasonable solution to the property owner's storage issues and are still in keeping with the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance.
Great, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Your request is granted. Thank you. Okay, so that closes our public hearing. Next up, we don't have any minutes, so our discussion of our next meeting, on December 3rd. Again, our annual year-end meeting, so we will review our procedures. Thank you for emailing them. So now we have one residential case as well as one commercial case. Looks like we have a request to cancel the meeting for December 17th, so can I have a motion to do that?
So moved.
Thank you. And a
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
And then our next meeting after the new year will be January 7th, and we have one case.
So I actually took in a second case, so we will be holding the January 7th
Okay.
meeting.
All right, sounds good, thank you. Any miscellaneous from anyone? Okay, seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move adjournment.
Thank you, can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we are adjourned.